In 2017, there are so many ways to be a parent. We talked to Dan and Marla Castelli to explore their incredible parenting story.
When Marla and I first decided we wanted kids, we knew we had options. In fact, we actually had too many options to the point where it was kind of daunting.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that many options since we bought our first car.
Which is actually the really interesting thing, because right as we were driving our new car home, that's when we saw the sign that would change our lives forever.
To be honest, we'd never considered adopting a highway. When it came to being parents, we'd hem and haw day and night about this and that, but it never seemed to get us anywhere.
And the idea of raising a highway was actually pretty appealing to us, because in a way, highways had raised us.
Exactly. I'd have never made it to my ballet practice, SAT prep, or even my own wedding on time had it not been for interstates that let you go fast.
And if I couldn't push speeds of 70 miles per hour on a daily basis, there's no way I'd get to my job on time. And then I'd probably get fired.
So when we adopted this highway, it was kind of like our way of giving back. But no one could have prepared us for the special joys and challenges that were coming our way.
We wanted for our highway the same thing all parents want for their children, and that's to have every opportunity for success. We followed all the parenting guides.
Early on, anytime we'd go to the grocery store, I'd be sure to point to every single thing we were purchasing, emphasizing color and texture, so that our highway would begin to associate objects with their names and master the language skills necessary for those advanced composition courses.
Cauliflower. P-A-U.
I would read to our highway every night. Even then, it was clear that it was already struggling to find its identity in life. The only stories it seemed to show any interest in were those featuring roads. So we went through them all. We read Another Roadside Attraction by Tom Robbins, Roadside Picnic by Boris Strugatsky, and The Road by Cormac McCarthy.
After Dan had read aloud L. Frank Baum's masterpiece, The Wizard of Oz, our highway knew exactly what it wanted to be for Halloween. The Yellow Brick Road.
I'll never forget the face of the cashier at Ben Moore's when I asked him to special order 90,000 gallons of yellow paint just so I could paint our child yellow for Halloween.
The questions were tough, the most difficult coming from our very own highway. Like, what does food taste like? Why don't I have a pulse? What are the indoors? Where do babies come from? Like, what could I say?
Ultimately, our highway had as good a childhood as anyone could ask for. One full of love, play, support.
But there was something missing.
Eventually, our highway was cast as The Road in its middle school production of Death of a Salesman. It was such a proud moment for our child. And as parents, we were so thrilled. We made sure to get front row seats on opening night.
Every time Willie Loman referenced that he traveled for his job, we'd start clapping because that was the closest our highway ever got to stage time.
Came back 10 miles an hour, took me nearly 4 hours from Yonkers.
But the other parents in attendance got pretty annoyed with our constant clapping, and we actually got kicked out of the show.
Sadly, that sort of thing was just par for the course. We were used to being misunderstood by other families raising human offspring. But unfortunately, we didn't realize how much responsibility our highway felt for our position.
It turned out that our highway was emotionally burdened by an warped adolescent sense of guilt, and therefore felt at fault for the fact that we were never invited to neighborhood social functions, were ridiculed by everyone, and ultimately had no friends.
But we had each other, and that's what our highway didn't understand.
When our highway ran away from home, that was probably our family's darkest hour.
Dan and I were terrified, and we began our search right away, but the local authorities did not make it easy.
Yes, he's long. It's about 10 miles long. It's an interstate. Have you ever driven a car? Yes, it's an interstate, okay? No, this is my child we're talking about.
Listen, this is our child we're talking about here.
Here, this is our road that we've lost. It's a highway, and we can't find it. Have you seen it?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
You're not sure. Have you seen this highway? It's about 9 miles long, and we last saw it 2 days ago. No, it's thank you.
1 week went by, then 2.
Anyone?
Each night was longer than the last, and it seemed like our highway was gone for good. We were devastated.
You never know where your kid is in a situation like this, and your mind, it goes to the darkest of places.
My deepest fear was that our highway had been abducted, languishing in the back of an unmarked van with no ventilation, except for the bullet holes.
We definitely began to lose hope. I mean, we had actually started to clear out our highway's bedroom when we got the call.
The State Transportation Department found our highway just where we'd left it. They'd put some temporary roadblocks in place to do some scheduled road work, and it confused everyone, especially us because we're its parents.
When we reunited with our highway, it was the happiest day of my life. We were family again.
For the most part, life returned to normal, but we made a few lifestyle changes.
We now keep track of the State Department's maintenance schedule very closely so that whenever there's a planned detour, we can camp nearby. It's a great way to bond as a family and also get closer to nature.
Since we've started periodically camping out with our highway, I've actually become a much better hunter. One time I killed a fox, and we ate its meat.
Many of those animals would have become roadkill anyway, which really isn't that much better than being murdered by my wife. Yeah, I mean, of course I missed the chance to engage in normal parenting activities like pushing your child on a swing, teaching them how to walk or tie their shoes or brush their teeth, or even buying them hats. But if I could go back in time and do it all over again, would I still adopt a highway? Absolutely. 100%.
When I think of all the highways today that are still in need of adoption, I really wish I could send some sort of raven or email to all the prospective parents on Earth to encourage them, in the strongest possible terms, to adopt a highway. If only they knew the beauty of bringing up a portion of an interstate like it was your progeny, so many more highways would be adopted right now. I just know it.
For me, it's really about the little gestures that let my wife and highway know I love them. If I can do something small for my family each and every day, like skinning the squirrels, hare, and deer my wife slaughters, or helping my highway study so they can get into Brown, I know I'll have succeeded. Because in the end, it's all about family, and I'm the luckiest man in the world.
No, we're all the luckiest.